Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's December Product Update Webinar with Client. Thanks for joining us today. Are we ready to get started? I see people are coming in. All right. So who do we got today for our webinar? I'm Rosalie, Customer Success Manager at Client, and I will be your host for today. We also have Yanick. Hi, Yanick, our
Hello,
CEO.
Rosalie. Very excited. Last one of the year.
Yes. And we have Natalie, who's not on camera, but she will be manning the chat and Q&A today. So hi, Natalie. All right, perfect. First of all, before we move forward, we want to use this occasion to thank you. Today is our very last webinar of the year. You have been joining us every month. We really appreciate it. Either you're joining live or in demand, doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. So we want to thank you all. Thanks for being amazing customers as well, and for being passionate, invested enough to join our little webinars.
Absolutely.
All right, and just little housekeeping rules, how you can be the best webinar participant. Just make sure, we want to make this interactive, so just make sure you answer our polls. We don't have that many today. It takes a couple of seconds. You can use the react button as well to let us know how you feel. And then you can use the Q&A or the chat if you want to ask any questions. And speaking of poll, we're actually just going to start and launch our very first poll. So we just want to know, is this your first client webinar? Yes. No, I'm a regular. No, I've been to a couple. And if this is your first webinar today, I really hope you're taking this good New Year resolution and joining all our webinars next year. All right.
Getting more and more people are registering, so this is exciting.
Yeah, I think today was our most registrants, our more popular webinar so far. So that's great.
2025 will be great.
And I just wanted to, yeah, it looks like, I think that's the same thing every time, but we have people from
Half and half and half.
Yeah,
A third.
All right, perfect. So what's on the agenda for today? Today we're going to talk about our latest release, 49.12.1, that was released last week. And then we're also going to discuss our roadmap for 2025 with the specific focus on resource planner related improvements.
Yes, a lot of excited people that we are focusing on the resource planner in 2025.
Yeah, and even for the roadmap, some of them are like sneak peeks, even for some people on our team. So it's like kept quite secret between Yanick and our product team. All right, so let's dive into what our new functionalities are. I think we've got 6 for this release.
Here they are, you see them. So we're going to be looking at my work. We're going to be switching to the workspace with sorting and the search. This is one of your favorite. That's why you have the heart emoji. Skills visibility on the planner, remaining availability when you're going to compare across our schedulers, and then the grouping. So the last 3 ones are about resource planner. So it's going to be a good segue to talking about the roadmap as well. So let's dive in with my work. So my work, you can find my proper interface. So my work is the component that you can access from the app launcher. So you're going to have it from here if you're in the latest version from my work directly. We recommend that you put it in your main menu. You can always pin those tabs. But the cool thing is that you, for efficiency and to have like that central or omni control panel, you can drop it on the home page as well. So this is the newest My Work component. The concept and the idea here is to really show you what you should be working on, and with the concept of priority, but also a concept of due date. So pretty much everything you see here is based on the due date of one of your tasks. So overall, I have 24 tasks that I'm assigned on or that I'm the owner of. 12 of them are overdue, so I'm doing poorly. Should have cleaned up my data before this call. And then I can see that what's coming in this week, next week, today, and later in the calendar. So far, so good.
Yeah, can I ask Yanick, actually, like when we're talking about my work and the tasks shown there, are these like tasks that are assigned to you or that you're the owner? Which one would be showing that?
Exactly, it's both. It's the one that I'm assigned on, and they can be ownership. It's open task. And we're receiving already, because we have early adopters. So those early adopters are telling us that filtering is going to be something they are interested in. So we've sent that to it was already in the queue, but we're going to release it a bit earlier. But those are open tasks across your different project. In terms of filtering, there's one way that you can filter is by selecting the different projects. So you can, if you just want to see one of those projects, you can apply the filter. So this is one way of doing things. But yeah, like I said, filtering is going to be added later on. And if we're looking about on the feature, you can quickly add a task. But let me search for one first. So maybe I want to look for search and it's automatic search. So it's bring up all the different tasks right away as soon as I search. You are able as well to sort the different columns. So if you just click on the header, and one of the next release, we're gonna add indicator to show you which column is being sorted. It's not there yet. So those are the kind of the main component. Beside that cool calendar view. So based on the due date, you can also have a calendar view of all your due task. And from here, you can click on it and it's going to bring you the task panel. So you always have access to your task. You'll always be able to go through your checklist item. And if you log time, it's always only 1 or 2 clicks away. I don't recall what was the result of our last quest on efficiency. So, whoops, I've switched back. Yeah. So let me go back to my work. So those are the key thing. You can see here on the left side, you have some checkbox. So you can select multiple and you can change the status of those tasks. So say that webinar task, and then those, let me not complete those. I don't want to mess up my environment. I'm going to complete that webinar, which was an old one, and then it's going to be removed from my list. And then I can go and execute my work. From that, my work, not just on the calendar side, but you can have access again to the right panel from here. We have indicator that's telling you if you've logged time already. So the color blue means that versus the gray blue means the time has been logged. This one has a checklist item and attachments. And if you want to go out and see the full task view as we do in the other interface, you can easily do it from here.
Yeah, and I think people are always asking for like, how can I work quicker? I think this is one of the solution we came up with. So I think you mentioned it earlier, but you can add tasks pretty quickly as well. So perhaps you're used to the workspace. This is kind of another way you could do it. And I really like these checklist little checklist icon.
Yeah,
And,
it's really like it's a center and it's a main focus on your work and what you're to do in priority. So it's one way of looking at things. As we always say, it's about lenses. So this is another lenses, but it's more kind of an execution or a team member or contributor. I need to go through my list. So this is a perfect view. We'll come back to the my schedule, which I love as well during the improvement look. But in terms of my work, if I'm not mistaken, and if you can look at the agenda, Rosalie, I think we've covered pretty much all the feature stuff.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, perfect. So up to the next one. The next one, it's working on the workspace. We've added the grid sort. So let me open up the global workspace. It does work on the global and the project workspace, so you can do it from both sides. So now you have that cool search icon, and then you can easily, let me, for the sake of it, let me easily, oh no, there's a search, I didn't say sort,
Yeah,
I'm jumping. Okay, so let me
They're
collapse it back
related.
then. So now I'm in I'm in here, the global workspace. What I see here is my project, and now I can easily click on the header of a column, and it's going to sort through alphabetically in this case. And percentage complete, it's going to sort with a number value, and it can sort by name too. So, and it sorts by dates. I don't have any dates field, but it also sorts by dates. So we have those sorts that are available to you now. You can see this is the current behavior, might evolve, but when you click on the header, you can see that it's being sorted here. And if you really want to remove and come back to the original layout, you can just remove your sorting from the top part here. This
Maybe
works. Go ahead.
one thing to mention as well, because I'm noticing the little asterisks in the top, like to mention that sorting is something that you can save in your presets. So as the Yanick is playing with the sorting, if one of their sorting is like a preferred one for you, just make sure you save it on the right side. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so now you see this one is at risk. I could sort always by statuses or by priority. So this is what we can see as a first level kind of task. And like I said, it's working on the global, but it also works individually per project. The behavior is a bit different, so it's worth maybe exploring a few projects and look at what's happening. So now we're sort as statuses, and we're sorting those statuses within the level that the tasks are, meaning that if you're a child, you're going to all be sorted by child, by the name. Let's go by name. It's going to maybe be easier. So now we can see that within this block, milestone, BDGS, this is the sorting order. And if I go the other way, it's going to be SGDB, so the opposite. But it's respecting still the parent. So it's not a full sort across the board in terms of the project and task name. It does it internally. And it's also the behavior here to respect that grouping. If we wanted to really sort flat, it's something we don't have yet, but it means that we would need to remove that kind of indentation of the child task. This could be something eventually we could put on a roadmap if something of interest. For now, it's going to sort within your within your grouping. So I don't know if there's anything missing. Those are like very powerful but simple feature to demo sorting on the group.
I think the key with that one is really when you're sorting, make sure you save in your presets. Otherwise, you'll just spend time keep sorting.
Yeah, but sometimes it's really during execution, right, as well. So it depends on the list you look at. And sometimes it might be as well confusing and depending on if you're doing the timeline. So you need to be aware. One thing I've noticed, and maybe we're going to take your feedback, is that sometimes I misclick and it puts a filter right away. We were wondering if we just should put the arrows here, like the chevron top and back up, and just have it press here instead of like the full header. So anyway, this is I think a cool feature that our users are going to use more and more. Please provide us feedback if you want us to improve it.
Right. I think we had a question from the chat that was asking if you can sort by assignee.
Yes.
I think that one was sorting by owner. Is that...
Yeah, maybe from within. I didn't look in this one. Yeah, in this case, yes. On project level, I don't think we've mentioned it before, but on the project level before, you could not see any pictures. You wouldn't not see any name. It was all blank on the global workspace.
Workspace. Yeah.
Yeah, so now in our newest version, I'm not sure when, we didn't talk about it, but now you see it. It does sort, but it seems to sort only within, so which makes sense that because those have just been introduced. So it's going to come eventually. It's going to sort on a project. It does sort within a project.
Yep.
Good. Any other question? No? So next one. Now it's a search. This is your favorite. I didn't put the emoji. I should. Okay. In this case, let me come in here and expand a few projects so we have a better search capacity or like better result. So we have that cool icon, the search icon, and then you can just start typing. After 3 letters, it's going to show your different search result. It's searching for, at this point, the project and task names. And the good thing is that you can just continue typing, but you can also hit the enter and it's going to scroll to your result, highlighting in a darker orange the line that you are on now, and all the yellow line are the one that you found, that the system found. You can see that it found 10 occurrence. We're in the 7th one. You can also use those arrows to go back up and down. Very cool. And if you continue typing and you just want a signature, now I'm only to 3 results across my project, and then I can start do what I needed to do, either changing your priority or working with my task. But I think this is something that you were looking for, Rosalie.
Yeah, and I think just to someone asked if the search and sort was available on global and project, and it is. I think Yanick decided to showcase the global workspace because we did notice that most customers know we have the project workspace, but sometimes the global workspace may be more unknown. But yeah, it's available both places. So
and it's just a click, right? Because it's all the workspace. It's one thing to get to a single project. You press that icon now. I'm in a single project. So again, if I do the same thing, I'm going to be able to find my my side. So global, single project, it's usually always the same feature set. So yes, you can access it from both. I found that the results of sorting by priority on the project level, I found it very interesting versus just on the task level. So it's really giving you the PMO, but also the project management, depending on which user interface you're using, it's going to give you those different lenses.
Yeah, personally, I already started using the search function for our, we have some internal projects that are pretty big because we keep adding new tasks every week. So when you look back at some of those projects that have started years ago, it's often a bit of a bit of work to be going through that. I don't remember what we talked about this last time, or so search is really useful for me personally in that sense. Yeah.
Exactly. So for now, it's restricted, not restricted, but limited to the project and task name. Description, eventually maybe another field we might be adding eventually the other columns, we'll see. Good.
Yep.
So grid search, moving to the next one. So resource planner. So one of the latest improvement in terms of resource planning. So let me open up the
Yeah, and that first one, actually, on last webinar, I don't know who was there, but we did give you a little challenge homework because we did mention we were going to talk about skills on today's webinar. So hopefully some of you have taken us up on the challenge and you went ahead and set up some skills and assigned them to some resources. So you're all ready to go for this new feature we're talking about.
We should have done a poll about that one, so to see if our webinar attendees are doing their homework.
They are.
So, okay, so this one is skills visibility. So skills, it's something that you want to use when you're gonna assigning people and when you want to search for replacement or adding people on your skills. More and more our customers are using skills as well to for their like performance tracking of your resource, or more like goals, business goals of learning new topics. So skills is a very powerful thing, and now we're exposing those skills in different in some of our lenses. So for example, here we have that new icon that you are able to click on and see the 5 main skills sorted by proficiency of that resource. So across different interface, you're going to see that new icon showing. And when you press on the view all, it's bringing you to the entire card of that user. So you can see the details. And let's say I have somebody like Roxanne that have a bit more skills. I can see those skills lists within the platform.
Yeah, and if I can add something, we often get feedback from customers that when we show webinars or demo, they ask us, how come my organization, like, how come it doesn't look like this for me? In this instance, if you go in your resource planner afterwards and you don't have this, it's because you haven't set up your skills. So there's a little bit of work to be done before. And if you want to do that, you can always check our last webinar. So make sure you set up the skills and then you'll be able to see this.
Yeah, if there's no skills, there's no icon. And if you don't have those colors, it's because you haven't set the color. And for a new user, it's going to be there. For an existing user, you have to change it manually, unfortunately. But absolutely, those icon comes as soon as you have skills assigned, it's going to show. So there's different interface that we can go and look at that's going to have that those icons, and we're going to see it in a few seconds. But let me open up maybe this project here. I'm going to go to that full view of this project, and a lot of our customer as well, when I'm demoing, asking, like, it's clean now, the UI, it's white, there's a lot of white, but this is mainly the theme of your environment too. So out of the box now it comes this way, but if you have if you want to set your Salesforce theme, if you take the light one, you're gonna get those basic colors coming out. You can even customize it to your own color, but just putting a white or gray background makes a total change in terms of the look and feel. Okay, so talking about the skill visibility, I'm going to open up now the resource planner, so the project planner. So we have two views, the global planner and the project planner. So now I'm looking at that single project here. Let me switch to my month view. And from here, if I'm looking at my this little icon here, it shows that I have a resource request associated with that specific business analyst placeholder. I didn't, it's pink here because it's a project that hasn't been sold yet. So we need to staff it in the future. So there's a resource request associated. From that resource request, you are able to search resources. So in our search resource interface, which is just you also have those icons showing. So this is two of the three places we added those little icons. I'm going to show the next one when we're going to be talking just after this of the remaining availability. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about skills, Rosalie?
I think that's all right. I see some questions in the chat, but I think we're good. People are asking about skills, but we know it's a feature not everyone knows about yet, so that's okay.
Yeah, the newsletter, maybe we can send a recap so everybody can also have it in their inbox, and as well as the color code if we want to include it as a link in the so everybody can be on the same interface. Okay, so skills, very interesting, very important, and we're gonna keep adding in next year about skills and certification. The other topic is going to be about comparing your resource or comparing your schedule with a new mode that we are bringing in, which is the remaining hours. Okay, in my story here, we're still trying to staff or see who can do that work of a developer. So in January, yes, 20 hours, in Feb, 80 and 80, and that's a specific build task here. So for now, you have to, when you click on the name of the resource, it brings you to that compare window, something similar to the search resource we just saw before in the resource request. When I do this, it's bringing me all the developer that I have in my system, and it's showing me, and as well, back to that small icon, you can also see that icon here in that interface. And what it brings you the schedule that is for that developer, for that task we looked at, and the availability of all your people or all your developers. So this was the standard feature, nothing new here. What we brought was that new mode. So you can see that we have 20 hours on this week, and there's 6 and 40 for those two resources, Ben and Bailey. But if I switch to the availability, it's going to subtract, meaning that if they take this project, they're going to have minus 14 hours and only 20 remaining for Bailey. So instead, in the previous mode, you need to do maths in your head. So 6, so no, you cannot do it, you cannot do it, you cannot do it, you cannot do it. So, but now with this mode, it's really showing you the numbers. So this is going to be ease up the job, so you can switch between the two. Color coding is going to come of the cells. As you see, the color code didn't change. It keeps the availability color code, not the remaining one. So in the future release, it's going to be when you're under 0, it's going to be showing red and yellow or green, depending if you are slightly available or fully available after you've taken that task. So this is the remaining availability, which should help in terms of assigning and really have a good view of your people schedule before assigning them.
Yeah, and just to add on, like if you go to your project resource planner, your project planner, and you're looking at the view, like you have to have had resource requests in order to be able to do that part, right? So
no, not resource request. That button here, yes. So for this, you need to have a resource request, and I can show quickly because this is something we don't do often.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm looking to staff that resource again, like we said. So if I go, if I click on the, sorry, misclick. If I click here on the developer and I go in edit resource and scroll down, you see there's a checkbox, create resource request. So if I save, now it's going to create that resource request for the entire task though. So it's a project assignment resource request. We don't have the task assignment resource request. It's something that's on the roadmap. So that resource request, it's a pretty light object, but you can see the detail of that project assignment with total revenue, hours, dates, role, etc. We have a mechanism of searching for resources based on the role. but also based on the schedule. And you can also have that mode that we were looking at before. And the cool thing is that you can do compare your resource, but also you can propose a resource. So let's say I want to propose Ben. If I press here, it's gonna, in my resource requests, it's gonna create some records, and then it can notify my project manager or my team, or depending on my process. You see it's creating here Ben Gray as a proposed resource with a specific bill rate. And then I could just book him if I want to book him as well. So that's the resource request part. We're going away a little bit of the new
No,
feature.
because I know it's a topic we haven't spoken about much,
Yeah.
so I figured if we can give a little.
Now, and that's why also I have, because in the release notes, it was saying that it was added on the resource request screen. So I said, oh, it's a cool way to show it. And I thought like showing you in resource request was a good idea too, because there's a lot of processes that you can get around that requesting a resource. And you see as well, the color code has changed. So now they're darker, meaning it's a resource request. And when it's a specific user that's assigned, proposed, you can even see it in his own calendar. So that's a cool thing.
Yay.
Okay. The compare though, you can just click on it, and it goes. Perfect. So I think we're done in terms of the oh no, the
Yep.
grouping and moving. Last one.
That's all.
Last one before the improvements. So in this case, if I'm going back to my project, I'll take the same project here. And this one, it's kind of a beta or alpha functionality of all the new revamp of that scheduler. Okay, so let me switch back to week view, and let's say I want that developer, I wanted to do more hours. So in terms of the interface, those blocks, you can move them independently. So now what we've introduced is that first, when you're doing this, when you're creating, you can see the dates. So I've selected from the 2nd of December up to 18th of January. And the second, and then within this, I'm going to be able to plan the effort and save. And it's going to give me that schedule based on what I put across my weeks. And you see that there's now a color coded around those blocks, meaning that they are grouped together. So why I'm saying it's a beta, it's because it's the first step, and it was the first step to give you guys, our customer, to try it, to see if this is of some interest. And the behavior is not fully completed, but you can drag them. For now, they are shown as gray because those are the block you're moving. And when I'm going to drop, it's going to move the entire block. So again, to go a bit faster, we didn't do the full UI thing that you would see all the block coming, but it still does the same behavior. Now there are still groups. So that's, and you can ungroup them. So this way you're going to be able to move this one now separately than the other one. Again, for this release, it's only the block that's been created here that's going to be grouped. That's why you see the other one at the bottom here, they're not grouped because they were not done in this way, so they were not grouped. Future release, they are going to be grouped, and we're adding more functionality about grouping, selecting multiple grouping, and those are the roadmap tasks that we're going to be discussing in a few minutes.
Yeah. So if you want to test it out, you have to create a new one.
Yeah, but just the fact that because it was a major pain that you had to move them individually or not, and when this is a small example of having just 2 blocks, but when you have like 20 weeks in a row, this definitely help as well. And yeah, I'm gonna come back to the improvement, but the scale has been switched to a full quarter 13, and it's gonna be pretty much unlimited in a further release. So.
Yeah, with the combination of how many columns you can show, the calendar view you're using, and this grouping, it's really going to give you that flexibility that was needed.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I think that's it for our new features. What I'm going to do is I wanted to do a quick poll. So we have new features and upgrade. All right. I think you should see it now. We have 2 questions actually for this one. So we want to know which of these different features you're most excited about from the 6 we mentioned. And also we're curious because we just released this version last week. So I'm curious to know if you already upgraded to our latest version for 9.12.1, or you haven't yet, but you will do that before the end of the year. Or you haven't done it and you're not planning on doing it because you don't think these features are amazing enough, which would be crazy.
There's too many, or there's too many to absorb. You have to
Yeah,
absorb.
too much. You have to like go through the holiday period before you can process it all. I'll let people answer a little bit. And then actually we can start talking a little bit about the improvements and fixes while people answer the polls. We did include in this presentation like the direct links to all our improvements and fixes because there are a lot. So what I would recommend is after the webinar, just have a look through them. We did add some stars to a couple of these improvements. And then you'll see in the release notes as well for this edition, we've added screenshots for more of the release notes. So it's a little bit clearer what has been done there. Just a couple of worth mentioning would be the new 13 view. Yanick mentioned it, and we have some new toggles in the resource planner for the placeholder in the completed projects. So because we're talking about resource planner, might as well mention it there. Was there other ones you wanted to mention, Yanick, from that page?
The my I don't see it here. The my schedule on the home page. Did we put it there, or it's
I
on
think
the
it's
next?
maybe on the next page, yeah. Is that possible? Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, there's more. Okay.
yeah.
There's not on the team is
I
working
have to do
very
a
hard.
second
It's
slide.
impressive.
Yeah, so you mean the my homepage. Yeah, I didn't put it there, but yeah, essentially.
I'll the my schedule. I'm gonna show it in a second. We're gonna start from there when we're gonna talk about the resource planner. But yeah, the I think in terms of what we did a lot this year on the workspace to bring it really to a really solid foundation. And now it's really fast improvement on what we have. So we have like the project analytics, it's continuously improving. So we're not like doing a full feature set on it, but now it's getting better and better with better coloring, with better indicator. So it's worth looking at all those individually as well.
Yeah.
Plus all our fixes that are also improvements sometime. But yeah. You
And a
want
lot
to
of
talk on any of those or?
no, I think we need to move on for if we want to finish, but a lot of the improvement and fixes as well are coming from the feedback we get from you all. Yeah, so if we move on to the roadmap, I'll just go quickly through the general one and then we'll dive into the resource planner related ones. So our team regularly updates the roadmap that you can find in our community. So this is a screenshot from the community that everybody can access. And our next major release would be on at the end of December, 49.13. General thing that I will include would be some improvement to the timesheet approval. So we're going to add the concept of delegated approvers. In the workspace, we'll release column filters. Today we talked about column sorting, so it's going to be column filters. And then we'll also have new right-click options for the timeline view in the workspace. Pretty cool. We're also going to make some improvement to grouping capabilities with the QuickBook integration, if you're using that. And
Yeah, this is good. Instead of sending all the lines, you're gonna be able to group them in QuickBooks too. So that's something that's gonna be very useful for people using QuickBooks and don't want to have line by line in their accounting system.
yep. And then the rest would be, yeah, resource planner related. So I know a lot of people are invested in resource planners, and that is why we dedicate the next 5 minutes to that specifically, Yanick.
Yeah, perfect. And we did a lot. We didn't show everything, but there's like things to notice on the resource planner. It's the where we're calling more a resource scheduler because it's really scheduling your resource than planning. Planning is more on the workspace side and the project plan. But we did the planner export this year, full screen viewing, the menu bar redesign, the grouping that we just saw, and the skills. So we did a bunch. I saw in the roadmap that it was not started, but actually this one is completed, and I'm already trying that version of aligned schedule. So this is great because it's taking your schedule hours and it looks at the log hours that you have and it match them. So this way you can set back your alignment in terms of your scheduling versus your real logged hours. So it's gonna simplify. So and all this information, all those things here, they turn out to like three main Categories of improvement we're going to be doing early 2025 on the resource scheduler or the resource planner. So we're going to revamp the UI UX, having one code base. As you saw before, there's like several way of looking at it. That some of them are the same, some of them are a bit different. So we're going to bring back to one code base. After that, we're going to be working a ton on reporting, baseline, snapshot. Put it in the resource scheduler because it's all aligned. It's all about actual versus what was estimated during sales, what was maybe baseline at some point in the project versus what schedule remaining, schedule futures, and what's invoiced. And all this, you can actually do it now with project assignment, task assignment, and our Snap object, like our historical action object, like utilization and project forecast. But we're going to streamline it and make that data available within the planner too. So this is going to be a big block, early 2025, and scheduling actions. So this is what we're lacking a little bit, like the grouping stuff. It's kind of an action of moving. Now, if I'm looking as well in the, if I'm going back to our global planner, let's say, if I want, for example, to move a block we saw it before, but let's say I wanna redistribute this block at this point. Let me just switch to my R view. So let's say I want to redistribute this block and actually, for example, I don't have a ton of options. This is what I want to say. We don't have a ton of options. So now what we want to do is that, okay, when you're going to schedule, the scheduling action are going to prompt you some question or some going to be derived from a menu, but you're going to be able to schedule, let's say, with a bell curve, front-loaded, back-loaded. Now we're spreading evenly pretty much, or we're doing fixed efforts, fixed duration, but we're going to be able to do all those scheduling action, we're calling it. So like transpose, moving an entire block or an entire project or project assignment, edit in a specific range and apply a different pattern. So all those are going to be created. And we've started with one of the scheduling action was to align the schedule with log hours. Now it's just clearing the rest. So that align. So the next one will be, okay, what do you want to do with the unscheduled hours? Put it at the end, reschedule the entire thing with a ramp up, with a bell curve, with a front loaded, back loaded on a project, on a task. So thank you for the arts and the totem. So those are the scheduling action that's going to be brought back, plus the UI UX revamp, like I said. So a lot more actions, a lot more flexibility in terms of grouping the different blocks, moving them along. So exciting 2025. This was one of the portion that we was needed attention. So it's going to get all that attention in 2025.
Yeah, and what I would encourage everybody to do would be, as we're releasing new features from now on and moving forward, I mean, it's a best practice, but make sure you upgrade and go test those functionalities when they're available, because we're improving upon those. If you have any feedback, it's very good timing to give the feedback when there's something new in the resource planner. And this way we know that we're going the right direction, etc. So.
And there was things that was asked from our customer in the past. Tim, I know, has been asking for filtering options. So in development, and it's like filter based on plan, schedule, availability. It's one of them. So I didn't put it in the main 3 categories, but there are going to be those filtering as well. And one question I had was, now we're always talking about hours. I was wondering if our, maybe just thumbs up, like is amount or revenue something that you would be interested to see as well in the scheduler? So future revenue by week per column on top of the hours. So maybe thumbs up, thumbs down. Is that something of interest? Or we shouldn't? So no thumbs up. So revenue on the resource. So maybe you see here, for example, we have hours, but there's a revenue associated to it, right? And there's a cost. So should we have like we can toggle this? Should we also toggle maybe like revenue so we can see the revenue? So one of our customer would be very interested in this. I was wondering if it was all of you. So like this as a no for now.
All right. I think I'm just going to close off this portion of the webinar with a little poll. It's just to know, like, based on everything we talked about for the roadmap, I know there was a lot of resource planner related things, more general things, but we want to know, like, for all the things in a roadmap for next version, which one you're most excited about. So we have the column filter, right click on timeline, delegate approvers, grouping capability for QuickBooks. And then I added the ones in the resource planner that are actually like in the works now. I think
not all
the
the
ones
things
that
we
are
have.
coming on the roadmap, we got the reactions for that. But I'll let you answer a little bit. And then otherwise, I don't know, Yanick, if you wanted to add anything else. Otherwise, we'll do a little conclusion.
Done. Yeah.
All right. Just reminder, best practice, make sure you upgrade every quarter or every release. Join our monthly webinar. Our next one is going to be on January 23rd. So that's in about 5-6 weeks-ish. And then make sure you meet with your customer success manager every quarter to make sure you're always up to date and making improvements to your client usage. As always, we will be sending you a follow-up email that includes this presentation and some additional resources and the link for the next webinar. Be sure to review us on the App Exchange if you haven't done so. Your reviews are super important, and we would like to, it's nice for potential customers to know what current customers are thinking about clients. So maybe a nice last resolution before the end of the year, if you don't know what you're back.
And we'll try to give you as much Christmas gift in terms of feature for 2025, and we did so.
Perfect. And then I'm just going to finish with our last webinar, which is just general feedback. I think it's launched. So we just want to know, how the webinar went, if you have any feedback. So I'll leave it up. And then for resources, I don't think we'll go through them, but you can find them all in the presentation. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will see you on the next year, and have a happy holiday season.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rosalie. Bye, everyone.